Think about how fast things can shift. I mean, just a few years back, one name pretty much dominated the whole EV conversation, right?
Absolutely. Tesla was synonymous with electric cars.
But today, well, the landscape looks really, really different. We're doing a deep dive today into, well, a huge power shift.
Yeah.
The rise of BYD and how they've actually overtaken Tesla in the global EV market.
And we're using the article How China Beat Tesla, the Rise of BYD, as our main source here. It gives a really interesting angle on this whole thing.
It really does. So our mission, for you listening, is to unpack the key reasons behind BYD's climb. How did they go from being kind of overlooked to this dominant player?
We'll look at that early underestimation, how it maybe set the scene for this incredible turnaround.
Exactly. And what it all means, the bigger picture.
Okay.
Let's get into it. Because this story, it has a pretty striking starting point, doesn't it? Way back in 2011.
Yeah, that 2011 interview, it's kind of amazing looking back. Elon Musk basically dismissed BYD, laughed even.
He did. And it really feels, I don't know, symbolic now, doesn't it? Sort of representing a wider failure, maybe, in the West to really grasp the scale of China's industrial drive.
Yeah, maybe an underestimation of just how fast things could move. And BYD's rise isn't happening in a vacuum, right? It's part of this bigger picture in China.
You mean like other tech advancements?
Exactly. Think about AI, like DeepSeek, or even advancements in, say, defense tech. There's this huge national push, government investment, building an ecosystem.
That companies like BYD can then leverage talent, infrastructure, all of it.
Right. It feeds into their success, and the results are, well, they're tangible.
Yeah, the article throws out a huge statistic. Between 2021 and 2023, China actually leapfrogged everyone to become the world's #1 car exporter.
Surpassing Japan and Germany, automotive giants.
And BYD was a key driver behind that. It's not just talk, the numbers are there.
And they didn't just stop at China. That domestic success became a launchpad.
Right, they went global.
Massively. Expanding into all these emerging markets, Thailand, Brazil, Indonesia, even places like Hungary and Uzbekistan.
Quite the footprint, but interestingly, not really the U.S., right?
Not in the same way, no.
Yeah.
Policy restrictions, tariffs, that kept them largely out of the U.S. market for now. It shows how politics and trade really intersect here.
Definitely. But purely on sales numbers, things have shifted dramatically.
Oh, yeah. The data for 2024, according to the article, shows BYD hitting over $100 billion in sales.
Which puts them ahead of Tesla's $98 billion.
It's the first time any EV company has actually outsold Tesla globally. That's a huge milestone.
A really significant moment. Now, the article also gets into some controversies around Elon Musk, suggesting they've played a part in Tesla's recent struggle.
Yeah, it seems like factors beyond just the cars themselves are impacting Tesla's market position now. Musk's closer involvement with the Trump administration, for example.
The article even mentions terms like co-president and advisor.
Right, and that generated some significant backlash, particularly among certain consumer groups.
Then there was the reported stuff about government layoffs, allegedly influenced by Musk, and the article brings up the irony, perhaps.
You mean the subsidies?
Yeah, the $38 billion in public subsidies his companies apparently received, contrasted with his later push for austerity measures.
And this is all happening against a backdrop of, rising anti-China sentiment in the U.S., those Trump-era tariffs.
It creates this really complex geopolitical mess, and Tesla seems kind of caught in the middle.
And it looks like it's hitting their bottom line. The article mentions a, 71% drop in profits?
71%. That's huge. And sales are down in really key places, too. California down 31%, China down 29%.
And Europe, too. Germany especially saw a massive drop in market share for Tesla, 58%.
Wow. The reaction in Europe seems particularly strong. The article mentions Musk appearing at that far-right rally in Germany.
Which seems to have really hurt the brand image there. There's that statistic.
Yeah, 94% of Germans surveyed reportedly saying they wouldn't buy a Tesla. That's a tough number.
It really paints a picture of significant brand damage in some key markets.
Okay, so that's part of the story. But let's flip back to BYD. Why are they gaining so much traction? The article highlights some real tech advantages.
Right, because it's not just about being cheaper anymore, although they often are. The argument is they're offering better performance, too.
They mentioned that viral video, right? The $70,000 BYD outperforming a Lamborghini.
Yeah. I mean, a $70,000 car leaving a Lambo behind.
Yeah.
You see that, and it sticks with you. It's a powerful visual.
Definitely grabs your attention. And it's not just 0 to 60 times. Charging tech seems to be another big area for BYD.
Huge. They're megawatt flash chargers. The article says they can add 250 miles of range in just 5 minutes.
5 minutes, that's what, 4 times faster than Tesla's superchargers?
That's the claim. It's apparently a whole new generation of charging, higher voltage, faster transfer. That kind of speed could really tackle range anxiety for people.
Oh, absolutely. Game changer territory. And then there's AI and self-driving.
Yeah, BYD is working with DeepSeek on a fully automated system, and they include their God's Eye AI suite as standard.
Unlike Tesla, where full self-driving is a pretty expensive add-on.
Exactly. It suggests a different strategy, making that advanced tech more accessible from the get-go. Though, God's Eye is their branding for the whole sensor and software package, aiming for autonomy.
Right, so different approaches there. And the article also kind of contrasts buyer attitudes.
Yeah, it suggests Chinese buyers might be more focused on the tech, the price, maybe less influenced by politics compared to some Western markets.
Whereas in the West, EV choices are getting more tangled up with political views and how people feel about the brand or the CEO.
And for Tesla, that brand perception seems to be taking a hit. The article even notes prominent investors like Ross Gerber publicly calling for new leadership.
That signals real concern, doesn't it? The idea that the brand damage from Musk's political activities is becoming a serious liability.
And zooming out again, this isn't just BYD versus Tesla. It feels bigger, like a potential shift in who leads in tech.
That quote from the Ford CEO was really striking.
They have IP the rest of the world hasn't developed. That says a lot. It's not just about copying anymore. It's about leading innovation.
Really turns the old narrative on its head. Now, the trade war stuff. It's complicated, isn't it?
It is kind of paradoxical.
Yeah.
Trump's 25% tariff on car parts. The article argues it actually ends up benefiting Tesla more than anyone else.
By making parts for competitors more expensive.
Exactly. But the potential downside for consumers is pretty stark.
A possible 13.5% hike in new car prices. That translates to, what, an extra $6,400 per car for Americans?
Yeah. And Trump's reported response to that potential impact.
No, I couldn't care less. Pretty blunt.
It definitely shows the complex, often unintended ripple effects of these trade policies. So when you put all these pieces together, BYD's rise, Tesla's challenges, what's the big takeaway?
Well, it feels like more than just one company overtaking another. It feels like we're witnessing a fundamental shift, a shift in global industrial power, especially in this critical sector.
The article sums it up pretty forcefully at the end.
It does. The rest of the world has already made its choice. Better tech, better prices, and better cars. China. Pretty definitive statement.
So the thought to maybe leave you with is this. If this is happening in automotive, what does it mean more broadly?
Right. Think beyond cars. What are the implications for innovation, for competition, for the future of technology across other sectors?
Could we see similar disruptions elsewhere? And what does that signal about the future balance of technological power globally? Something to definitely keep an eye on.